Scott Griffin, I hope you're having a great day, man. Welcome into the game in Tuscaloosa.
Ryan, what's happening?
Football back in the air in T-Town. It's always good, man. Always good.
It even feels like football weather. So
a little bit.
We even got that covered, yeah.
Yeah, and you see tonight, we're going to be down in the 30s tonight. Craziness. Yeah. So 80s one day, 30s the next. Nothing like Tuscaloosa weather.
Yeah, it's chaotic, isn't it? But the team was indoors, as you know, and yeah, there was a Butch Jones sighting. He had Alabama gear on, in fact. It was like a pro day, like you said. So
and
he's out there walking around. So I guess that's official. Can we take it that way?
Well, and it wasn't like the shirt that they just got out of the box that was unpressed last time. It actually looked somewhat official. He had the shoes, he had the shorts, and the coach's pullover, and the long sleeve shirt. It looked official now.
Yeah, it was geared out, man. He had the crimson and white Nike stuff on the shoes, and yeah, he was ready to go, taking notes, looking intently, and walking around the offensive side of the field.
All right, so we want to pick your brain with a lot of different things, but let's go ahead and get this announcement out of the way here. Big announcement. I'll just throw it to you and let you do it. Big news coming up Monday right here on the Tide 102.9 lineup.
Well, yeah, I guess it is pretty big, and I'm very excited about joining a team over there, replacing Eric Suttles, and so I'll be doing the noon to 2 show right after Travis Rice show, right before your legendary show, and I hope I can get on base so you can drive it all in. So that'll begin Monday, and we'll call it Smashmouth Radio, which is a name I've had for a little while around the Birmingham area and Alabama area. So, hopefully we'll get it going, and I'm very much looking forward to talking some Alabama football and basketball and different things, and with different guests all over the country, and just kind of be a team player and then get on base for you to knock me in.
So Scott, let me just ask you as you open up this, and I love the name because it's hard hitting sports talk radio, right? I mean it's what you guys, and if I've when you were at 99.1 up in Birmingham, you guys offered strong opinions. You brought the heat, and I sort of like that Smash Mouth because it kind of reflection of what you guys are going to bring.
Well, it'll be a good lead into your show because you're kind of like that too. We're both kind of opinionated. We're direct. We don't mean anything by it, but yeah, I mean it's a direct approach. I try to show both sides of the situation. Sometimes that there isn't two sides, but I certainly try to be balanced and do that. And we expect callers to come in and bring it. Bring their opinions, be ready for conversation. As you know, that's what sports talk is. It's not one guy dominating over another or me browbeating people. It's about conversation and healthy discussion and all those kind of things. Hopefully we'll laugh a little bit and, have some different things on there, different takes, and really focus on a lot of things. And obviously it'll be Alabama football heavy like your show and do some different things, but we'll talk about issues and conversations all over the place. If people follow me on Twitter, they know I was taking shots at Jim Carrey this morning, Ryan. I don't know what I was thinking.
Well, sometimes on Twitter, I don't know what it is, man. I have got in a mess with Central Florida. I mean, an absolute disaster. I'm getting negative tweets from Orlando every 2 minutes, and I mean, they're disaster tweets.
Yes.
So I don't, and I fell into the same trap that Greg Byrne got trapped in on Sunday because he trolled Central Florida. I fell into the trap, and I have took the heat for it, man. Craziness. Want to know why I did that?
Well, Byrne had some little smash mouth stuff going on, like you were talking about, and then Tina Deneen, the strength coach's wife from Alabama basketball, threw out some trash towards Bruce Pearl and Auburn. So a lot of people down here are starting to sling some stuff. It's very un-Alabama-like. It makes some people nervous. I kind of like it.
Oh, I do too, especially for all of us in talk radio. But going back to the format that you've been a part of, and Scott, how many years have you been in this business, man? You've been in this industry a long time.
Ryan, since I was 18 or 19 years old at WSGN in Birmingham, which is a long time. I mean, that was when it was top 40 radio, playing Earth, Wind, and Fire and the Eagles and all that kind of stuff. So it's been a long time as far as talk and TV and covering news and sports and stuff, certainly a long time there. Obviously, I went to the University of Alabama, and I've been covering it since, the end of the Bryant era, the very end. And really started covering it heavily during Ray Perkins' era. So I've been around.
But one of the great things about this platform, this medium that we've been given, is you talked about the callers and getting them involved, because I think it's what's unique about this platform. You know, those newspaper guys, and I love newspapers. I love to open up and read websites, but you cannot yell at the newspaper. You just you can do it, but it's they're not going to yell back. They're not going to talk to you. But the one great thing about talk radio is it opens up it's a medium that we can all have a conversation. And there's many times that the callers bring so much to the table. We were laughing at Nick Saban expectations earlier, talking about championship, and it's not always going to be like that. We had a caller that called in, and he said, did Nick Saban not say last year was a wasted failure? So he admitted, right? I mean, and I would have never thought about that, but the caller brought to that table, and I'm like, yeah, you hit a home run. You nailed it. You're quick, and that's what's so fun about this format that you and I are part of.
Oh, it is, and it's changed because you're younger than me, obviously, even though you're a veteran and been there and doing it very well for a long time. But I started obviously at WJLX in Birmingham 1,000 years ago, and it was back when we got all the information and there wasn't as much information available. Now, as you know, doing a show, there's people out there with more information than we have half the time if they're freaks about it, and there's a lot of freaks about Alabama football. So that's where the opinions really become valuable because, I'm always open to having my mind changed or listening to a little different take or something. So it's not like we're going to break a ton of stories. We'll break some just like you do, but because there's going to be a lot of people out there with virtually the same information. So opinion to me really carries how a radio station and a radio show can really go. And then that's what, if it clicks with the audience, then you got success.
Yeah. Man, it's good. I'm looking forward to it. Smashmouth Radio that will begin Monday at 12 o'clock right here on Tide 102.9.
Will you come on my show?
Oh, man. You think that would be wise for the corporate folks up in Connecticut of Town Square? I mean, do you think that would be I don't know if could the airways?
I don't think they would mind. I don't know. Well
no, I'm talking about. I mean, would it be good for with two opinion guys going? I mean,
maybe. I think so. Why not?
I mean,
come on.
I mean,
this isn't brain surgery.
But
you and I talk anyway. We sit here and talk when we see each other practice or whatever. So
yeah.
Maybe we just like that. I don't know.
What's the first debate? I mean, is it quarterbacks? Is it Saban versus Bryant? I mean, what would be the first debate that you and I?
We can go a long ways with that deal. Probably the quarterbacks. That's the one that's sexy right now.
Okay.
By the way, just the video we'll have up on the 102.9 site. They're both, and I'm sure you've seen it, that they're both taking snaps at the same time. So we can't even say one's taking a snap in front of the other. So.
Okay,
there you go. Let it begin today.
But judged on 10 minutes of viewing, do you have a clear-cut leader right now in the clubhouse?
I will say, as Rodney Orr talks about it, they did a lot of footwork drills that we saw, doing some ladder drills, and Tua's footwork is just off the charts, how quick it is, as you know. So his footwork's terrific. Jalen's isn't bad. It's just Tua's just a different monster on very quick steps. So, but they both threw it pretty good. Again, as you know, we get 10 minutes. I saw Brandon taking snaps at center, but Ross Piercebecker also took snaps. So people are going to read into something on the offensive line. As you know, they're going to shuffle all those guys around. Here's the interesting thing, though. Devontae Smith, the hero of the national championship with the catch from Tua, was running some defensive drills.
Wow.
How about that?
Yeah, but do you think that's just Nick Saban trying to throw us off? Because, see, he's going to leave these, little trails for us to follow throughout this 15 days of spring. He's trying to get us distracted, Scott. Don't fall for it.
Think so?
Don't fall for it, man.
So our eyes don't notice Butch over there in the Alabama gear walking around? Is that it? I don't know if Nick's trying to get our scent off, but, it is kind of odd when you lose Calvin Ridley. And Devontae Smith, was as good as any of the other freshmen out there, and he's running some drills at defensive back. But it'll help him as a receiver. there probably are short of numbers, as you know, until all those prized freshmen get here. I'm sure we'll find him at wide receiver in the fall. I'm sure this is just a kind of a just an experiment kind of thing.
You know, going back here just for a couple of minutes, and I know I'm really overanalyzing this thing, but you put up a couple of videos, and a great way to connect with Griff, Scott Griffin, is Griff, SZSZ, Z as in zebra, Scott Griffin on the Twitter account. You put up a couple of YouTube clips a couple of minutes ago, and you look at Tua, the ball that comes out of his shoulder. Man, that thing gets out of there quick. I mean, he has just got a beautiful touch. I know that's not everything that it takes to be a big-time quarterback, but, man, he throws a beautiful ball.
Well, you and I have seen it, and I think we've been on the same page for a while. It's just different. Even in the 5 or 10 minutes you get, when you see it consistently, he's just a special talent. It's an NFL spin. It's tight. It comes out, like you said, very quick. There's not a lot of wasted motion. His accuracy is off the charts. And the only thing I can tell you, and I'm used to do the Titans pre and post games, so I've seen some NFL. I'm not certainly an NFL expert, but I've seen some guys throw, and it's an NFL spin, man. I mean, it's something like I've not seen at Alabama in many, many years.
How excited are you to see Dan Enos, the quarterback coach? Because I know some of your video included Dan Enos working with the quarterbacks individually on certain drills, not a coordinator working with quarterbacks, but an individual quarterback coach working with them.
I think it's interesting because he can really focus in on just being the quarterback coach and get to know them and not have to worry about plays. I'm sure, obviously, as you know, he'll be involved in that and the game plan, but he can really just dial in on developing those quarterbacks and then developing the Mac Jones of the world, the other guys that will be, important on taking reps. And then Minshew, whenever he gets here in May or June or whenever he gets here. So he seems to be a lot more animated, as the video shows, than Brian Daboll, who was more NFL business-like. So Enos is kind of upbeat and very quick-paced, as you saw in the drills. There's two guys throwing at one time to two different receivers. I kind of like that. You know, you get far more reps in. So it's going to be interesting to see how his pace is affected this spring and in the spring game.
And one of the things also that I noticed, I'll let you go because I know you got to get ready for Nick Saban coming up in just a couple of minutes, but the big nets that they were throwing back and forth in the quarterbacks, obviously these quarterbacks are not, they're not ton as far as being tall, especially a guy like Tua that may be right at 6 foot. That's going to be a problem that he's going to have to deal with. I thought the nets addition, something that I have not seen on a University of Alabama practice.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, because there's a thought process of just throwing to hands and throwing to receivers and the timing of that. But I guess there's some kind of data that Dan Enos has come up with that makes that be a part of the practice. It's going to be interesting to find out if we ever get a chance to talk to him or if Nick Saban allows as to all those kind of things. But, this is what Nick Saban is the master of, getting different guys, different ideas, and, melding them together. I think that's the beauty of why he's successful. He doesn't think he's got it figured out. You know that as well as I do. And that's what keeps him fresh and keeps him successful. He knows the things that are the foundation, but he doesn't mind mixing that mortar and getting some different mixtures to build each individual house every year as far as a football team.